In the fall of 2022, I set out on a journey with a goal. My goal was to complete my first long-ish hiking trail, and the journey was the Ozark Highlands trail starting at Lake Fort Smith and headed east towards Woolum. Well, it's taken me 4 years to complete it, but this video marks the completion of the original 164 miles of the Ozark Highlands trail and a little bit of reminiscing about that first trip.
All right, here we are, Lake Fort Smith, and we are getting ready to start our 33-mile weekend OHT. So here's the visitor center, and we're getting ready to go. So here we go. We're all suited up, and we're all packed up. There's Owen back there, and there I am, and we're ready to hit the trail and have a good weekend.
Well, the first 2 miles after leaving Fairview trailhead eastbound have been just super gentle, cruisy, mildly downhill miles. Kind of miles when you make time. Well, the first real water source of the day. A tuna wrap for lunch. Some fresh Ozark Mountain Creek water. And we covered about 3.6 miles in a little less than an hour and a half, so I think we're making good time. On we go towards Richland Creek. The Ozark Highlands Trail is absolutely beautiful when there's a lot of water, but that first year in 2022 was almost bone dry.
Oh, do you want to take some fast? Good job.
This little section of trail is a mixture of white pine and western red cedar. It's shady, the ground is soft, it's cool, and it's just cool. Okay, I think we're approaching Richland Creek. Kind of up on this bluff looking down at it. Yeah, there it is. There's Richland Creek. I think we've made better time on this section than on any other section of this trail so far. All of the uphill sections have been really mild, slow ascents. A lot of level trail, a lot of gentle downhill. It's like everything to the west of Fairview trailhead is severe, and suddenly now you're east of Fairview trailhead and things aren't quite so severe. The trail really mellows out. Well, guess what? I didn't realize it was coming up this quickly, but the surface we're walking on is an old asphalt type surface. And if you look over here, there it is. We just made it to Richland Creek, but this is the old, I believe, Civilian Conservation Corps campground, where this structure that you're looking at is an old explosives magazine. This is where they kept explosives back in the day. It has a concrete roof and the walls and all of that. So yeah, we made it. Oh, somebody's had a candle up in the corner there, and somebody's made them a little fireplace to camp here.
This would be a cool camping spot.
Would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
I'd be scared all night that was gonna fall on me.
All right. Good morning. We didn't film and camp last night. Of all of our hikes on the Ozark Highlands Trail, I've never had happen quite what happened last night, but we wound up with Owen and I and two other hikers, one of them on a through hike of the trail, staying in the same camp on the same night. I don't think, other than one other time, I've ever shared a camp with anybody on this trail. There's usually not very many people on the trail at any one time. But we are cheating a little bit this morning. We're going to walk about 1.5 miles up the road instead of the actual trail track, so that we can see Six Finger Falls close up. Hopefully it's kind of cool. And then shortly after Six Finger Falls, we can literally just jump right back over onto the trail, because it'll be really close to the road at that point, and that will be pretty awesome. So, good morning. Welcome to day number 2 of the final push to finish the Ozark Highlands Trail. Okay, are you ready for it? Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Six Finger Falls. And you can see why it's named Six Finger Falls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different falls, and I'll bet when this river's up and rolling, this is absolutely gorgeous. For anybody hiking the Ozark Highlands Trail, I also noticed, it appears to me that right down here beside Six Finger Falls, there's kind of a cleared out primitive camping area that also could serve as a campsite. It would have been beautiful. I kind of wish we'd have camped here last night. Now, well, so the trail itself is on top of the bluff, but we've chosen a little alternate for better views of the creek. Six Finger Falls was beautiful, but I would argue that from the trail, you might be able to look down on this valley and see just another valley view. But oh my goodness, you don't get to see this. Just the view of the bluffs. They're absolutely spectacular. So for everybody who is a purist and argues that you have to do the continuous footpath, I get you. In most cases, I'm probably right there with you. But in this case, there's about 4 to 5 miles of road that are literally parallel to the trail. And my argument is the views from the road are better than the views from the trail. Well, we made Richland Creek, and it is beautiful down here in this valley. Time to take a little pack-off break, eat a little snack, and rest for a little bit. Oh, there had to be an old homestead right here in this spot. Definitely piles of rocks that have been piled up. Somebody, hey, up, we're right in the out pattern of a building. So here are the exterior walls. You just walked right through what looks like maybe the front door. So we've got a square rectangle here of rocks. Bet that was a chimney at one time. Okay, so here's something you have to know about Arkansas. There are so many rocks that they carry trees around on top of them. And that's like a 36-inch diameter tree. That is huge. Good morning and welcome to day 3. Have a little shorter day today. We're going to do 11 miles, most of it downhill, and we're going to wind up at Woolum where we cross the river and end the hike in the Ozark Highlands Trail, at least the original 164 mile portion. Again, we didn't show any videos in camp last night, but just because we were sharing camp with other folks, and which is an oddity for this trail, it seems like, to share camp with other folks. But camped along a creek called Dry Creek, and it is anything but dry. Had really good water flow, and there was a pool there by the camp that was actually about, I'll bet, 6 feet deep. And so was able to take a dip in the pool and clean up and get refreshed, especially after yesterday. It was hot, and it's going to be hotter today. I'll bet you anything the temperature, we're kind of on a south facing slope here, and I'll bet you the temperature is going to be, by the time we finish, 90 degrees, which I really don't like hiking when it's 90 degrees, but I guess March in the Ozarks, right? Some days it's 0 and some days it's 90. In fact, it was well below freezing, down in the teens, about 4 or 5 days ago. So that's just the way it goes. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to our last day of the Ozark Highlands Trail. Well, from our camp at Dry Creek. Yeah, the creek that's not named right because it definitely had water. But from our camp at Dry Creek, it has been almost all downhill this morning. Just a few little climbs, and they weren't anything, but we're on this old Jeep road, and I don't know if this takes us all the way down to the dirt road. We've got about 4 miles of dirt road walk here in another 3/4 of a mile or so. It'll take us to Woolum, We are almost done. 164 miles of the Ozark Highlands Trail under my belt.